It's like they're like, hey, what would make a great champion? Just name like the top 10 things. And someone's like, oh, here they are. And they're like, cool, we'll give them all to Kitty. You're like, hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, a few of you have commented on various videos, gotten a hold of me, and you're like, hey, dude, you haven't done a top 10 rank 4 options in over 5 months. In fact, I looked at it, it was way back in January, and I recorded it at the beginning, or at the end, actually, of 2021. And a lot has happened. I was talking about my second rank 4, and I've already done my 5th rank 4, which ends up making a massive difference. I'm intentionally showing you the prestige on my account right now, and I'm at the point where only champions who are higher in prestige at rank 4 will make a difference, because I now have 5 champions, and that's how prestige is calculated. In this video, I'm going to go over who my 5th one was and why I picked them. I'm going to show you who has fallen out, because a lot has changed. I actually watched my previous video and saw how much has changed based on my priorities and how I'm playing the game and battlegrounds and things like that. I'm going to show you who fell out. There's only one person, actually, one champion. They're not real people, right? Actually, there's 2, but there's one for real. We'll go over some honorable mentions very, very quickly. And then I'm going to count down 10 through 1. Here's who I'm picking. Real interesting, though. I noticed I picked, I think, champions 6 and 7 to tank as rank 4s, being Spider-Man 99, and then Null is up. And I don't think Omega Red was, or Omega Sentinel was even in the game. A little bit of a Freudian slip and a bit of a teaser there on that one. And then if you're like, hey, dude, we really want just generic, who should we rank up advice? I got a whole video for you. In fact, I got a whole spreadsheet. I do a champion ranking, default champions ranking every month. I think we're on like month 22 or 23 or 21, somewhere in that. It's completely evolved. There's so much work goes into it. That's the rankings team. I'm now starting to call them the Illuminati. Check that out. In fact, I'll put up a card for it right now. You can go to that, and that is just generic rank up advice. We list who really benefits from having high sig, who needs the awakening, who's recoil tree friendly, who needs a synergy to be ranked that high, all like the whole thing. And then I have put out my first battleground tier list rankings, and that is going to get massively updated once we're done with the beta. That'll be coming up here in a month, so keep an eye out for that. In fact, that should be coming out very, very early into June. So lots going on there. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk about this. I can't believe I haven't even talked about who my 5th rank 4 was yet. Just a matter of how busy we've been in game and how busy I've been. I got a little sick there, but it was Overseer. Now, I should tell you my priorities for this game right now. My number 1 priority is enjoying Battlegrounds. It is so much fun. I'm having a blast in betas. I'm having a blast when it doesn't matter, when it was just the CCP. Yes, the mode has problems. I've covered that in a different video here. I did a bit of a state of the game, but the mode is also amazing. I think could see this game for so long. I happen to have Overseer. I think he was about SIG 160 at the time. I knew he was going to come into my prestige. I am in the Alliance for Loki, so I would like to have high prestige, although they do not force a single rank up. It's amazing. And I absolutely love the way he plays. And also, at least as far as the metas we've had, he's been at least extremely good at worse for all of them. You can place them on defense unless they have, a true strike, some way to get around the auto block. They're not going to be able to defeat him quickly. He has so much health and tricks up his sleeve. He can cause problems if someone makes a mistake, even if they're being on a good counter. There's a good chance he's going to get a kill or extend the fight. And then, oh, it is delicious. The way he can absolutely close a fight is absurd. I've gotten out a video on him when I knew I was going to take him to rank 3. I killed a war boss, 1 or 2 with him, and it really opened my eyes. I talked to BMcG, amazing channel, check it out. And we really went over like, wait, what's actually happening when he goes into cosmic mode? And then that fury that he gets after he's out of cosmic mode. The amount of time you're doing significantly larger damage than when you're just doing your 5-hit combos and getting set up. It is a massive, massive difference. If you're like, what are you talking about? Go to my channel. I can only pin so many cards. Go to my channel, go to the Overseer playlist. You're going to find videos from me and BMcG. Awesome channel. Trust me, you're going to be really, really happy you did. All right, now we're going to talk about the one champion who's fallen out of my consideration. Like, it was interesting for me to see Penny Parker. I had her, I think, as like 9 or 10 or something like that. Now, one of the reasons I still like her, by the way, the real irony for me is I thought she was going to be this defensive nightmare. in Battlegrounds. One thing we're finding out, you know, and I'm fluctuating anywhere between like barely within the top 100. I got up to like 22 at some point, but not as many folks have been playing. I think the rankings weren't as mature. And then if I'm, you know, not playing as well or whatever, I'm falling down to like 800, 900. So I'm floating in between this massive, let's say like 800 to 100. So my ranking is pretty decent. And I think what's happened is people know how to fight her. And they're bringing options, and options that they're bringing anyways are actually decent for her. We haven't even had a true counter to her come out in this game yet. I imagine that will happen this year. Would not be shocking to see that happen in the month that Thor, the movie, goes live, right? Just a lot of cosmics and stuff. It would make some sense. And so without her even having a true counter yet, I'm noticing people know how to fight her. And the real interesting thing is I've been enjoying using her on offense against Nick Fury's. Weapon flexes are out there now, shutting down that healing. She does the massive damage, and then she's just so safe with the auto block. I've really been enjoying her, but I'm not finding myself wanting to bring her to rank 4. I think I'm going to have this like shut down defender. I still enjoy her. I still really like her, but she wouldn't increase my prestige. I don't think she would be this amazing, massive asset for Battlegrounds and Alliance War. I just don't think that they would be placing her. Maybe they'd be excited about it. But as far as my priorities, BG's, Alliance War, and then Alliance Quest, you know, is basically prestige. She's not fitting it. So that's why she has fallen out. And then now we're going to very quickly, because I do want to spend a lot of time going through the 1 through 10. We will talk about the champions who are in my honorable mention. So I'll just kind of name them instead of taking the time to actually show you. But here's the honorable mentions for me. Is we have Mr. Fantastic. He is honestly fantastic. He's actually working out exceptionally well as a defender too. That's been the really interesting thing for me. If you don't have someone who can shrug, or you don't have a true strike or an evade counter, he's going to cause you problems. Barrowman used him to beat me very badly. Let's put it that way. All right, so that was kind of fun. Spider Ham. I love Spider Ham. You've been watching my channel long enough, you know we were on Spider Ham like 2 Decembers ago. I got him early. I consider him an indulgence rank up. He's amazing, and he gets around so much stuff that you don't at first thought think he would. But the way those power stings work, and then he's got 2 taunts. He's making the defender throw a special, which is really nice because a lot of people are really upset. They feel like the AI has been made more passive, and I do agree actually. And so having those extra taunts, increasing whatever percentage they already had to throw the special, increasing that, it's nice. It's really helpful. He's been a master for me offensively. And then if they don't bring the right counter, he can be a real problem on defense. He really, really can. He's causing problems for him. And if you watch my Battleground videos and my rankings, you know I really like those two-way champions that can be used offensively or defensively. I think it provides a lot of strategy there. So then we go to Immortal Abomination. I mean, the dude just takes up so much room on the map. A great defensive champion, great offensive champion. The reason why I'm not going to actually have him in the top 10 is the top 10 is that good. But also, I feel like he's fine at rank 3. There hasn't been a matchup where I find myself thinking like, if he was ranked 4, this would have gone that much better. So that just hasn't happened. Apocalypse, if you watch my general rankings, he is one of the best champions in the whole game. He's in the tier above all for mutants. He's that good, in my opinion. Problem is, he's a little bit slow on offense in most of these attacking modes. He's good for some metas, but I haven't even been bringing him in some of them. I have a pretty mature roster, let's call it that. And he just hasn't even made my A team for most of them. He's a problem on defense. I get that. He's an amazing rank 4 champion. Campo has him rank 4, just destroyed stuff with him. If you're curious about that, make sure you check out Campo. All these people I'm naming, they are listed in the description of this video. I call them the Illuminati. They're just that smart about this game. All right. Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's just so much fun. I love Cosmic Ghost Rider. Before Null and Hercules came into this game, he was going to be my first Cosmic rank 4. I actually put a bunch of stones in him, even though you don't really get much value from him. This is because I like him that much. I think he's very versatile. Yeah, I just love him. I think everyone knows why, right? But on that level too, there's not a lot of times where you're like, if I could get a little more damage out of him, he'd be pretty good. So I'm not seeing the value for me personally. but incredibly smart players like let him taters and for Loki has him at rank 4 and destroying stuff in war. So he's very, very worthy of it. If you go and look at my main rankings, you'll see I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, these other two, I think, are going to be kind of surprising to you, and one, for two different reasons. One is they are so new. I actually have Scorpion, and because of just a really, it was a bloodbath of a hunt to try to get Rintra, I actually have Scorpion at Sig 160. I have not gotten to use him that much in Battlegrounds because I'm still really familiarizing myself with how he even works. But the second bullet point here, if the opponent is inflicted with Petrify and they attempt to heal, Scorpion heals, you know, what is that, 87% of the health. Okay, I used him on stream the other day, and you know, we were having fun just kind of screwing around enjoying Battlegrounds, and he went from about 50% health to about 80% health while destroying the defender. I had made a mistake, and he had this massive heal. I think there's something there. I really like this champion, and, you know, Battlegrounds and in questing, having a champion that you can go in and just be like, which sort of damage do I feel like doing today, was a really big deal. In fact, I think it was Slaymon. I was on stream. He's like, hey, you're going up against, I think it was a Gladiator Hulk. And he's like, you know, he's poison immune. And I was like, yeah, I know. Scorpion can change the source of damage. I like that. And then the ability to change what you're immune to at the same time, simultaneously change that. That's a really big deal. I mean, we don't really have anyone like that, at least not in the pre-fights, as far as like making it a pre-fight. He's very cool. He's a lot of fun to play. We're incredibly high, I think, at the block proficiency, not the armor on this guy. He's someone who, if it takes long enough for me to accumulate my next rank 4, maybe like 1 or 2, because I'm not going to get this video out every month, probably updated every 4 or 5 months. He might be a rank 4 for me by the time I make the next one. I'm interested to see how this continues to evolve. And then the other one, I think this is just going to be a big surprise for people because he's such an obvious, worthy candidate for rank 4 is Hercules. For me, he's kind of an honorable mention. In fact, I know that I would actually probably be more likely to take up CGR or Apocalypse or something like that. I have Hercules at Sig 200. He does everything I need him to do as a rank 3 for my account. I use him in AQ. That's how much I hate Alliance Quest. This isn't the video for it, but I use him for it because he can handle stuff that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. He's not designed for it. They want you to bring like a mutant and a skill or something. But Hercules is still somehow the best champion for these lanes. That's the lane I'm on. That's the alliance I'm in. And I am going to be taking a break, but I fully intend to come back to For Loki. And yeah, so that's it. Hercules, incredibly worthy, one of the best champions in the game. But for me personally, he's an honorable mention. All right, let's do this. Let's get to number 10. This shocks me. If I had made this video just a week ago, there's no way this guy, he'd probably maybe be honorable mention, and I would only be saying it because I know people really are concerned with prestige. He's the king. He is the king. And, you know, we never know exactly what Kabam is going to do, but there is a massive gap still between Doctor Doom and Mega Sentinel as far as prestige goes. That Kabam could fill that gap just slowly, incrementally for years. And Surfer will maintain that top spot. Now, I eventually intend to come back to Alliance play even after my break. And in doing that, AQ will matter. As much as I hate AQ, those rewards are really good. And as I told you at the beginning of this video, the only way I can increase my prestige now is by champions who have a higher prestige than my other current rank 4s. Well, Surfer would do that. Additionally, you know, DLL is on stream. DLL has been a fan of Surfer for quite a while. And he's like, use Surfer. And I did. And he won. I beat a thing in the current meta of, I think it's Safeguard. And like, that's not, I think, the best thing that Surfer can do, but he was able to put out plenty of damage. He's got the miss mechanic, the variety of buffs, the cycling buffs, the ability to go unblockable. You can time when you miss. So if there's like tricky specials that you're having trouble evading, like if you go back, you got to go way back to like the very genesis of my channel. I actually used Surfer in War a few times for like a kinetic transference. I do like the guy. I do like it, and it's weird how much it's growing on me, and it having a bit of a dual purpose as far as like getting that a prestige just done. I don't have to think about it anymore, and it's as high as it can possibly get. Plus, having some sort of role in Battlegrounds. Like, he's been decent for other metas. I placed him on defense, and he won 2 of those fights for me. I used him 3 times in one stream. He was either the winner in a fight or he won the defensive battles for me. At least took long enough because people just didn't have a direct counter for him. Really interesting for me. I even as I'm saying this, I'm like, maybe he should be higher than 10. I'm kind of almost talking myself into getting Surfer done. I mean, it's also Silver Surfer, right? Do you remember how excited you were when we found out Silver Surfer was coming to the game? Like, I was pumped up. It's Silver freaking Surfer, man. And so maybe he is actually higher than number 10 as I sit here and talk this through. Let's go ahead and get to number 9. When I made this list, and I did spend quite a bit of time on this because I wanted to think this through. I was surprised that this champion came up as number 9. And the reason is because I almost took him up over Overseer. I almost took him up over Omega Sentinel. I think he's one of the best champions in the game. He is incredible. He's phenomenal. I pulled him early. I've put out 4 videos on Nimrod. That's pretty much my limit on just like pure basic stuff within a small period of time. I pulled him early. I was like, I love this champion. And one of the reasons I knew he was so good, and I often say this, is I'm like, when I barely have any idea what I'm doing with a champion, I'm kind of just like 5-hit comboing and throwing specials, and they're dominating things, that's usually a clue for me that like there's a good chance this is an amazing champion. And I've stumbled upon many amazing champions because of that. He's one of them, and he just keeps getting better. I was one of their ones really early on, and like, this guy is not just for mutants. He is not just for mutants. If there's healing, there's prowess, and that is being more and more present in our game. He is amazing for, and then we're seeing him in Battlegrounds. Again, I've used him defensively, but I've also used him offensively in matchups I don't think people would have suspected he'd be great for. He's not a 10 out of 10 on him, but he's an 8 out of 10, and that's really, really good. I love him. He's phenomenal. I have him at SIG 100, but kind of similar to some of the other champions I've talked about, there hasn't been something that's made me be like, if I only had him at rank 4, he is totally worthy of it. If you want to take him to rank 4, I think phenomenal. Congratulations. I eventually will take him to rank 4 for sure, because I think he's well suited for where the game is now and where it is headed. But as even just as I'm talking about it, I currently have more excitement about Surfer, as bizarre as that is. It might just be the newness effect of it all, because Nimrod also does synergize exceptionally well with other champions that you're going to come further on in this list. I like having the sorts of synergies, especially when their champions as good as the champions are going to be on this list. So again, I like all these champions. I think they're all going to go to rank 4 at some point. So let's move on to number 8. This is, I'm just going to put it up there. If those of you know my channel long, I mean, that's an America Chavez doll. It's a doll. It's an action figure, but it's a doll. Right there on that table, you can see it, right? I'm pointing at it. I just like this character. She was in a TV show that was on YouTube at the time. Now it's on Disney Plus, but she was on it. I enjoy watching it with my 2 kids. She's a cool character. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool, a great concept. I love that she's in our game. I'm very underwhelmed with her in questing and things like that. Often it's like, this quest looks like she'd be great for it, and then I'm like, I could take 4 hours to do the fight, or I could just do it in 30 seconds with Spider-Man 99. But here's the irony, is she's actually been quite good in default for a lot of the metas of Battlegrounds so far. And then she's also a problematic defender. Even if you know how to fight her, she's still a problem for people. So Battlegrounds being my number 1 priority, she fits that. She wouldn't increase my prestige at all, and that's fine, but I have her at a nice high sig there. And she could go on Alliance War defense. So she's really fitting 2 of those 3 priorities, and she's hitting my 2 biggest ones, being Alliance War at 2nd, and 1 Battlegrounds. I like her. She's eventually going to go to rank 4. I don't think it's going to happen today or my next one. Let's see though. Let's see how as we get more and more Battleground metas, more nodes is what I'm talking about for those of you who aren't familiar with that term, and see if she's making sense for a lot of these nodes. We're in Safeguard right now, so she's not the best. I can see her moving up even higher. Now, this is one I don't recommend for people. This is very personal to my account, and that's how I recommend you do your rank ups. You go look at my ranking sheet, you test the champion out yourself, you watch hopefully my videos, someone on the rankings team, the Illuminati's videos, someone else's videos. then you play him yourself, then you go decide if you're going to rank him up, right? Okay. Now let's move on to number 7. We can stay in the Mystics. Really weird that he's number 7. He really should be higher up. Talking about prestige, he's not the king, I guess, but he's really right there. He's the right-hand man. He's the number 2. Should be up there for an incredibly, incredibly long time. I have him at SIG 200. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. He's just almost too good, type of a thing. Nerd Hyena on the Illuminati, the rankings team, has been doing phenomenal stuff with his rank 4 stuff that I never even thought of that you can do with Doom. Like, I'm a very simple Doom player, like, 5, well, I guess not 5-foot combos, but just getting those combos going, getting the shock up, the passive stun, get to my SB3, Doom cycle, and then usually the opponent's dead. He's a great defender for Battlegrounds. Even just today, I had a matchup where I was destroying him with with my Overseer. I mean, the fight was won. It was done. It was over. I was even about to enter Cosmic Mode, and then I just barely messed up an SB2 evade. He hit me with the Incinerate and brought me all the way down to like 2% health. So he's fantastic. He's awesome. He would obviously handle all 3 of my criteria, being Battlegrounds, Alliance War, and Alliance Quest Prestige. Maybe I should consider him higher. I think it'll just depend on what mood I'm in. When I finally do have the resources to rank 4, he's eventually going to go up. All right, number 6. I put out a video on this guy, and I was like, is he actually the best skill champion? And in it, I really prefaced it, I framed it around him needing his synergy partners, that as you synergized him up with like Hood, he was going to be potentially the best skill champion in the game. Now we had Joe Fixit get buffed. Man, if they buffed Mr. Sinister, whew. Those are great synergies for Kingpin, in case you don't know. Now, Fixit's been buffed. And here's the real interesting thing for me is he doesn't really need him. He heals so much. He just is constantly healing. I've taken full AQ maps. So section 1, section 2, and section 3, map 8, only using him, and used no items before. I know that maybe doesn't sound like a massive deal to some of you. That's a big deal to me. That's just one champion doing all of the fights, taking all of the path fights, and using literally no items. He's also a beast in Battlegrounds, taking fights that like he has no business taking. That's not what he was designed to do, but his damage can get so high. He can go unblockable. You can throw when you're in his overcharge, your specials are unblockable. He's got the dot if you need it. If you don't want the dot, you throw your SP2, you get all your rage going. Oh my God, his SP3 even has the nice stun. I mean, there's just so much, and he's a problematic defender. No one wants to let him get to his SP2. He just doesn't satisfy the prestige portion of my priorities, but he's a blast to play, and he's insanely, insanely effective. He will definitely be going to rank 4 for me soon, and he might be the best skilled champion in the game. He could be. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is although I do think he's extremely worthy, there is a little bit of nostalgia for me on this one. For me, at least the way my memory of it is, he was the first champion I pulled and did a true review. As far as like having a channel, and I really was like, I'm gonna try to do a full review on this champion. I love him. I was talking about my whole, like, before I even fully understand the champion, I'm just 5-hit comboing and doing a few things, and they're just taking care of content for me, is Guardian. He was fantastic. He's awesome. I took him immediately to SIG 200. I got a lot of flack for it. I mean, this was back in the point in the time where like I would read the comments and some of them would actually kind of irritate me if people were being super negative for no reason, like if they're just being rude. And people were saying I was like hyping him up and trying to sell crystals and whatever. And I was like, no, he's just that good. And so it's awesome for me to have players like Munash out there like talking about how great Guardian is. And the thing is, he's been fantastic for Battlegrounds. A lot of the negative connotation on him or idea or surrounding him was that he was too slow. But now we have, people are like, oh, you just SP1, you SP2. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. And then he's a good defender he requires a specific counter. He often requires a specific counter. I think he could be used more in Alliance War. I get why he's not used a ton in Tier 1 Alliance War, because he's not often like the 10 out of 10 best option, but he's often like the 8. He's often the 8, and he's incredibly safe and tanky. Handles a lot of those pesky mutants who, if you don't have your Nimrod or your Mega Sentinel, he's going to be able to handle them for you. I love him. He will eventually be going to rank 4 for me, and like I said, there's a little bit of like he's like my first one, you know. He's my first YouTuber love. That sounded weird. That was weird, right? Let me know in the comments. That didn't come out. That sounds odd. But you know what I mean. And so he's there. He, for me, is number 5. And I mean, he's someone who, if you came to me and you're like, hey, I'm thinking of taking rank 4 Guardian, I'd be like, dude, congratulations. All right, let's move on to Professor X. I'm going to be repeating a little bit of what I said in the last one. He was very early for me too. I pulled him early. I pulled him and Apocalypse early. And the one that, I mean, I liked them both. You can go back and watch my videos on them. You can see I really enjoyed them both. I thought they were both awesome champions. But the one who just stole my heart was Professor X. He's honestly, for me, looking at the other champions, he may be, when I play him, the most fun I have in game. He can be incredibly frustrating because I do think it takes a high level of skill to play him exceptionally well, and I'm aware of how to do it. I'm maybe not very good at it. I love playing this guy. Like the idea of his damage is adequate out of the box, but you're just ramping up, and then you're not only ramping up in the fight, but you're ramping up over the course of the quest. His incredible synergies, making full teams better. He also happens to synergize exceptionally well with champions I love, which makes a big deal for me, right? Like the team, my dream team for this upcoming Alliance War. My dream team for this upcoming Alliance War season was Professor X, White Magneto, I like to call him Posh, and Mega Sentinel. They synergize so insanely well together. They handle miss, and Professor X even handles most evades. And what I love about him is he doesn't need to like do anything besides just play. Like his flow, as far as like you're just playing the game and playing Professor X and good things happen, his flow is exceptional. You just play the game and you get an evade counter. You get a miss counter. You don't need to like 5-hit combo or 4-hit combo or end in a light or a light, medium, light. You don't need to do any of that stuff that I don't like doing, especially in a fight where I'm worried about an evade. So if I'm already paying that much attention to the defender because I'm worried about them evading, I like to not have to worry about other stuff or focus on it. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal. My heart lies here. If this was a pure just heart thought for me, he would have actually been my second. Rank 4. There's just been other things that have made more sense for my priorities at that time. He hasn't been that great for Battlegrounds. He's usable. He's a little bit slow. Alliance War, I think this current season is where he could potentially really shine. I think if you take him to rank 4, if I take him to rank 4, I might get him assigned a bit more because his health pool would go up a little bit. He's a little squishy. And he's not really going to help out for Prestige, even though I did take him to Sig 200 because he really was going to be my second one ever. But other champions who were more helpful to me at the time came up. There it is. If you have a rank 4 Professor X, I think Infamous has one. Congratulations. I know that I'm a bit envious. All right, moving on to the top 3. Now, I really think there's a chance, and like I said in the last video, I think I ended up taking up number 6 and number 7, which, interestingly enough, I think if I had the resources today, I really think it would be one of these top 4. I'm looking at the list right now, and it would be one of these top 4. And I say that because Professor X, I just like him so much. Or ironically, Surfer, I think because of the Prestige. So here we go. Number 3. She needs no introduction. Another champion I pulled early. I could tell, being in the CCP, I was like, oh boy. Y'all got to get a load of Kitty. She's phenomenal. And she's so much fun, but where she works, if you're willing to play her safely, she's just outrageous. She's overpowered with her synergy partners, with Tigra, with Ghost. She has a great synergy with Nimrod, who I love playing, who's on this list already. I mean, the fact that her synergy partners are also some of the best champions in the game, it's like mind blowing for me. She can do damage, obviously the nice big special too, but she can do damage just by being missed. She also does her dot, her incinerate can be a passive or it can be a debuff. So it depends on like who you're fighting and how you want that damage done. She goes unblockable. Like, it's like they're like, hey, what would make a great champion? Just name like the top 10 things. And someone's like, oh, here they are. And they're like, cool, we'll give them all to Kitty. You're like, what? One champion? I mean, you can even run recoil masteries, and because she doesn't take damage when she's phasing, you heal. Yeah, I mean, she's almost too good in a way, but let's not go there, right? No one likes the nerf bat. So as far as my thing is, though, is I don't know if I'm skilled enough currently. I'm getting better. I continue to get better at this game to use her in Alliance War. I don't know. And she would not increase my prestige. And in Battlegrounds, I've seen people do cool stuff with her, but I don't even bring her in my A deck. In fact, she doesn't even really make my B deck. Maybe there will be some metas, and maybe I'll get better with her as I'm kind of understanding more and more interactions with her, with unique defenders, and I'll start bringing her, and she'll make it up. The reason I have her at number 3 is because I just enjoy playing her, and I'm aware and I recognize how good she is for this game right now, and how hard it will be to make her not good for things in the future, right? Like, we've seen that with Ghost. They'll try to ghost-proof something, and people who know how to play Ghost are like, yeah, that didn't work. Nice try, buddy. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Kitty Pryde, where it's like, no, if you want to use your Kitty Pryde, you're going to be able to, and you're going to do exceptional stuff with her. So that's it. Yeah, I want to rank 4 all these champions, folks. If you haven't ranked 4 Kitty Pryde, let me know. Let me know if you're using her in Battlegrounds. I would really appreciate that knowledge. So this next champion, the number 2 champion, I think is going to be a big surprise to even people who know me exceptionally well. We are staying in the mutant class, folks. And it's not Strife. I know a lot of you know how much I like Strife. I don't even have this champion at rank 2. I do have them as a max at 5-star, and I use them as a 5-star. And then because they don't need, but they benefit so much from by having the insanely high sig level, and I had them max at 5, I just never took him up. He's a rank 1 champion for me right now. But depending on when you see all of these, I've opened some crystals lately. And he came all the way to a natural sig 160, I believe it was. 140 or 160. I think it's 160. I was like, I have a sig 160 Omega Red. Why is he only at rank 1? That is ridiculous. He is honestly one of the best champions in the whole game. Definitely one of the best mutants in the whole game. He's in my top tier of mutants. I do think he requires that synergy with X-Force or Sabretooth to have that designation. But here's the thing. He's so good and has so much utility and can get his damage source going so fast that in the modes where you're using him, being Alliance War, Battlegrounds, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've had people take out my rank 3 Penny Parker with Omega Red. Like, that just doesn't, it's not what was intended. That doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, what I'm saying is I want one too. And so to have him as a rank 4, I love watching war videos from Slaymon, again, one of the Illuminati, and from Lizer. I've even been in Lizer's BG. She was my Alliance War leader just 2 seasons ago, also in the Illuminati. And watching their war videos, I am just, amazed at how skilled they are with him. I don't want to make this sound like you just rank him up and you win the game. No, you need to watch how they play him, because it's very, very different than any other champion. And they're incredibly quick with him at reading the game and the AI and things like that. But what they can do with him, the matchups that they can take that just weren't intended, because he is so insanely good. And so that would be really nice, right? Being able to have him in Battlegrounds. I don't think he has much defensive utility, but he is so good offensively, and he could handle so many different fights for me that he alone would make it so there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 champions who I am currently taking that I can just remove from the plate, because he's going to handle such a variety of them. And I'm starting to really see the value of that in building a deck. I like him. The only thing that would hold me back is maybe just enjoying someone else more, because it's been so long since I've played him. And then also knowing that I'd have a steep learning curve. I'd really have to invest a lot of time, but he is worth it after all this time. And then I already have him at SIG 180, another 26 stones. They're precious, but 20s, I mean, well worth it for Omega Red. And then oddly enough, the #1 champion, and you know, this my interest in her goes back an extremely long time. I mean, this goes back to when Jacob would be regularly on stream with me, and I was like, I really like her. I just don't know how to play her very well, but I recognize what she can do. She is an absolute blast when she is played well. The immense damage that she can do. And he said to me, he's like, you don't have to be an amazing Tigra player to play Tigra and do good things with her. And so I took her to rank 3, and I've just slowly been working on it. I listened. DLL has an amazing Tigra guide. I have it downloaded on my phone. I often, if like I don't have anything else pressing to listen to, and I'm in between errands or something, I'm listening to it in my car, just constantly listening to it. I watch J-Nick's war videos. I watch DLL's war videos. FinTech has stopped by my stream pretty regularly, actually, the last few times I streamed, giving me pointers on her. I am using her in Battlegrounds, and I'm like, okay, you know what? If I don't do well, that's fine. I don't care, because I want to learn. And she is destroying stuff for me. Just absolutely destroying. In fact, I'm sure some people are like, I think that Vega's modding. Like, I took out some fights in like 23 seconds. And I'm really just replicating what I've seen in these war videos where they teach. You know, DLL teaches, JNet teaches. And so watching these war videos have been amazing. Oh, Buddy Lee. You know, Buddy Lee and I were in the same alliance. I would enjoy his videos too. And, you know, talking to me about how to play her, all the various things she can do. It does take work, but she is well worth it. Neutralize is such an amazing way of handling buffs. The intense damage that's coming off of it. Like, the whole thing. If I got good enough, I'm sure I could use her in Alliance War. She's not going to help with Prestige, but she is so good for Battlegrounds. And the fact of the matter is yeah, she's won me a lot of rounds by offensive, but every once in a while, she just hasn't made sense. And I've thrown her on defense. And while people have been able to kill her, right, she's a little flimsy. And they use their Immortal Abomination or something like that. If you mess up even just once against her, if it's one of those specials, you're dead. Like, there's no coming back. And she's won me matchups that way, where I know the player is a good player. I see them over the course of 2 to 3 rounds, but in that one, they just made a mistake, which we all do sometimes. And so while no, I don't think she's an amazing defender, she's a scary defender. That's my top 10. I mean, I can see how long this video's gone, but I think it was well worth it. You saw who my 5th rank 4 was. Let me know what you think of that. Where are you in the rank 4s? Are you working for your first one? Do you have 7? Someone probably's got 7. You know, what'd you think of Overseer? How are you enjoying Battlegrounds? And how has Battlegrounds influenced your thinking on rank ups? Because I know it is completely the #1 priority for mine now. And what do you think of the honorable mention, Penny Parker falling out? And then I know there was some other questions that came up here. And who do you think? Who should it be? Professor X, Kitty Pryde, Omega Red, or Tigra? Who do you guys want to see? And also, who do you think it should be? Thank you so much for watching. I've been having an absolute blast. I hope you're having fun too. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.